Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Michael Torres with the Living in Long Beach YouTube page. I'm really excited to share with you. My wife and I have been working on a project now for a couple of years, and what we're working on is we're building generational wealth through rental properties out of state. So we did take a course to learn a little more about this. Turns out I pretty much knew everything I needed to know, except for some specific markets that I should be investing in, and kind of what criteria that I should be looking for. So what we are working on now is building our generational wealth for our family through investment properties, through building cash flow through these properties, different strategies we can utilize to get in, whether that's either even seller financing, where you don't have to get any bank loan for your loans, whether it's a DSCR loan or even buying properties cash, fixing up, refinancing, pulling all our money out and then keeping the property for the rental. So today I want to go over our plan on how we're planning to build generational wealth through real estate and cash flow. So our focus here is really been on Section 8 properties. Now, we have worked with some cash tenants. There's upsides and downsides to both. Let me kind of talk a little bit about the upsides of Section 8 housing. So first of all, the government's paying the rent. So if you get a tenant in there, the government's paying the rent, you're guaranteed to get paid. It does take time. I mean, I've had some of my properties sit for months where they're rented and Section 8, we're still waiting on payments from them. So sometimes they'll end up paying 3 or 4 months at one time to get caught up. Just make sure you're prepared for that. Um, Downside to Section 8, you do have to get an inspection done. And when you do that inspection, you don't know what they're going to come up with. So you could think your home is rent ready and ready to go. And next thing you know, you got a to-do list from them to fulfill. And I've had these lists cost me somewhere, sometimes between, 1,000, even $5,000 to get the property up to what they say you need to get done. So you can also look at cash paying tenants. It depends on the market. You want to make sure the demand is high for your rentals. I have run into some major problems in some of the areas I'm investing where, cash tenants fall behind or they don't pay for months. And the next thing you know, you're having to evict. And, not only does that cost you money, but now you got to go back into the property, rehab the property, get it back to rent ready. So again, that's not fun. We've learned our shares. We've had our wins, we've had our losses with this, and so we're definitely someone you can learn from in that regard. So obviously, one of the things we really want to focus on with this, and the reason we got into this, investing into Section 8 rentals for cash flow, is we want to replace our income with cash flow. If you can imagine the lifestyle where you wake up every day, you can, let's say you like to go to the gym or maybe surf or golf, enjoy the rest of the day doing as you choose because your bills are paid, your housing's paid, your electric paid, maybe you got some kids you need to pay for their education. I don't know about you, but sometimes it feels like there's so much going on in life and you can never get caught up quite enough. So our dream for us and then what we're working towards is buying rental properties with cash flow, to start off by first paying all of our housing expenses and bills, and then building up from there and building our generational wealth, but by having extra money for expenses and vacations and to live the life we want, right? So what hobbies if you had all the money in the world and all your bills were paid and you had more than enough money coming in, what would you do with your time, right? Like I said, I brought up, I love at this point to golf. I love to surf now. I love going to the gym. Those are my three things I love to do. I love going to the beach, just sitting there, maybe meditating or praying, just spending time with myself, right? So what goals would you have for yourself, and why would you want to potentially get into investing in to Section 8 rentals? Like what would drive you to want to take on something like this and build this kind of wealth for yourself and maybe your family, right? So my solution has been the Section 8 housing. Like I said, sure, you can rent out to cash tenants. You probably find, quite a few that are great. And at the same time, I've had so many already experiences, people that don't pay their rent or they run later on their rent. again, when you have something like Section 8 where they're gonna pay, essentially the rent for the tenant. These people that are on Section 8, they don't want to lose their Section 8. This is kind of a golden ticket. Like, this is their housing taken care of by the government. They do not want to risk that. So how do they, prevent? Well, they've got to take care of the house, right? Or else they're in violation. They've got to pay their portion. Sometimes Section 8 will pay the full portion, but they've got a portion most of the time to pay, and they have to pay it. And if they don't pay it, they risk losing their Section 8. So a couple things you want to make sure when you take on Section 8 tenants. One thing I'd highly recommend is do not be on the hook for any utilities. Make sure that you have your tenants paying their own utilities. You don't know what they're going to spend on electricity. You don't know what they're going to spend on water and gas. Put that on them. Section 8 pays a premium for rent. I would highly recommend when you're getting your rentals and getting started with this that you make your life easy. Provide the house in the condition it needs to be. Have your inspection done. Provide it the way it needs to be. But again, don't take on more than you need to. Okay. So what this is all about here is this is about building a program for you to replace your income with cash flow investments to live the life you choose by design. Again, my name is Michael Torres. I've been in real estate since 2005. I am a real estate investor. I'm also a real estate broker and a mentor. So, right now we have 14 doors. We're not huge yet. We're working on it. We're continuing to build our portfolio. We're in the process of diversifying. We want to be in multiple markets. We've run into some problems in some of the places we are. So kind of want to open up some new markets to test that out. So long story short, we're currently building our future cash flow one door at a time. And again, this is to replace all our bills. So, everybody has household expenses, and our first goal is to pay all of our household expenses on a monthly basis with cash flow. That way, every home I sell or dollar I make in business or any other investment income I have coming in, all goes towards building our nest egg, building buying more rentals and continuing to build that out. So I am also a real estate broker. I do own a real estate brokerage in Southern California. I do specialize in real estate sales, done hundreds of transactions. I've done my share of property flips here in Southern California, also done some out of state as well. Also, I specialize in short sales, probates, and foreclosure prevention. So, short sales and probates, great places to get great deals on properties. And then again, if you're somebody who has faced foreclosure, is in foreclosure, and you need help, I am happy to help you with foreclosure prevention on your home. That's something I do for free. If we do find after a while that you just maybe you choose you want to sell, or maybe enough time's passed and you just feel like you're ready to move on, we can potentially help you sell that property at that time. But again, my main thing is I don't want you to lose your home. We want to help you stay, and that's something I do for free. So I've also been a mentor to many agents and investors alike, and help people reach high levels of success in real estate sales and also investing alike. So my big thing right now in my life is, investing is my passion, and again, Section 8 can be a vehicle towards long-term wealth that can set my family apart and again let us live the dream life that we choose. So how does this work? So if you've given some thought and this is something that you have interest in, first thing I want you to do is consider identifying what your goals are. So what is your particular why, and what do you want to accomplish with this? And once you were to accomplish that, what will that do for you in your life, and how will you feel once you've achieved those goals? So again, my goal is to replace our income with cash flow. And once we've done that, then I will continue to stack to buy more rentals, and so that we can even double that, right? So imagine you had $20,000 a month coming in passive income coming in every month consistently. Like what would that free you up to do, right? So that's my goal. What is your goal, right? So the next thing you want to look at is you want to look at your target markets for these properties. So you're going to want to do all your necessary homework on the market, and also you're going to want to set up your financing, or if you're paying cash, or what ways you're going about buying these properties. So a couple of markets that I absolutely love looking at. One, I really for cash on cash returns. One of my favorite markets is in Detroit. Detroit, I have many properties out in Detroit now. Um, Comes with different problems as well. I've had some cash tenants not paying rent there, so that's something to watch out for. I definitely would stick to Section 8 as much as possible. You have weather-related problems. Sometimes when it gets really cold, you could have pipes bursting in your home. So again, do your research on the market you're looking at. Another market you might consider. A lot of people love Ohio. A lot of people love Indiana. These are markets where you can purchase a home for 60 or $80,000, almost turnkey. Put a little bit of money in the property, fix it up a little bit, get it on the market and rented, and be collecting, 13, $1,400 a month. So our target on these properties is typically about a $500 cash flow per month per property per door, right? So if you end up, say, buying a duplex, you're going to want to target that $500 or so per month per door when you buy, right? So once you've kind of established a couple of markets you're interested in, you definitely want to underwrite these properties. You want to negotiate terms and write offers that work for you and close on these deals. So it's very important to understand, when you buy these properties, you have to buy them right. If you're not, you're eventually going to lose money or overpay for properties. Now, you can't really overpay for properties too much if you're getting them appraised and things like that. But if you go into, let's say, a cash transaction, you're buying your first property, and you haven't done your homework to determine how much work is going to be needed to fix up this property, or what the rent's going to be, or if you haven't done your homework on what Section 8 pays in that county for a, let's say, 3-bedroom house, um, you need to do all that. You need to do all your homework first. And so when you're underwriting and writing offers on these properties, you want to make sure the numbers are going to pan out for you. You should know, if you're getting a loan, you should know, hey, I'm putting, let's say, 15, 20, 25% down on this particular property for, $80,000. This is what my payment's going to be. This is what I can rent it out for. You should count on 10% management fees when you have management in place for these properties, which I would highly recommend you do unless you're local. So all things to consider. This business is and can be very lucrative. And at the same time, if you aren't doing your homework and you're just buying properties to buy properties, you're going to eventually get burned, and it's going to cost you a lot more than you thought. So when we've looked at this for ourselves, obviously we have our goals in place. We have the income from these properties versus our expenses. So when you're looking at this for yourself, what is your current income? What is your source of income you have? Are you paid, monthly as a wage employee, or maybe are you self-employed? Maybe you own a business. So what is your typical monthly take home, right? And then what are your expenses from that? What is your housing expense? Do you have a car payment? What is that? Insurance, food, etc. So long story short, what do you have coming in every month in your household, and what do you have going out? So obviously, in our home, what we have going out is what we're looking to replace. We want to be able to wake up every month and have those expenses out of the way so we can continue to build in the future. So our goal and your goal for this is, we want to help you to generate cash flow to replace your income, to leave the 9-to-5 rat race. So how much money do you need every month to replace your monthly expenses? Like I said before, some of the target markets that I like and that are somewhat landlord friendly as well. So again, you need to target markets where you can buy homes for less than 100,000. Now, to be honest, I really like it better, less than 80,000. There are plenty of homes in Ohio, Indiana, Alabama, Michigan, Missouri, other places where you can pick up a 3-bedroom home that needs maybe some cosmetic work for less than 60 or $80,000. That would be my absolute target for these. Okay. So you want to target, I prefer, and you can do otherwise, but I prefer 3-bedroom properties. Section 8 pays a great premium. People want 3-bedroom properties. So that's my personal target. I like to have the properties less than 1,500 square feet. The reason why is if you have to do maintenance on the property, if work comes up and things need to get done, I personally don't want to be stuck with a 2,200 square foot property where Section 8 pays, let's say, for an example, 1,400. Let's say it's a 3-bedroom and it's 1,200 square feet or 2,200 square feet. Section 8 is going to pay the same amount for that property. They're not going to pay more because it's bigger. They're going to pay by the bedroom. So personally, I want to target those smaller homes, maybe 1,000 square feet to 1,200 or 1,300 square feet for these 3-bedroom properties, because there's going to be less maintenance. And when I have to turn the properties over, it's going to cost me less money, which means a higher rate of return on my money. Okay. I also want to focus on properties that are built after 1950. Um, you know, even after maybe 1960. Sure, you can go farther back, but long story short, I'm trying to buy properties that aren't going to have problems coming up sooner than later, right? Obviously, these are older homes. With that said, you don't want to end up having a bill. And I've had this. I've had this multiple times with properties where we broke these rules, bought older properties. They had some more things we needed to do, ended up costing a lot more in work than what we had planned. And yeah, it caused problems, and we've learned our lessons. And that's part of why I want to do this today is like we have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this business. And if I can save you the problems that I went through, then you're going to be off on a better foot to get started. So another thing you want to do when you're looking at Section 8 properties, you can go to the website here, huduser.gov. You can determine there what each county pays for Section 8. So you can go on the website there. You can look at the target county, city, zip code that you're looking to purchase property, that you bought property in. You should have already done your homework before you bought the property. But if you have, you should know what they're paying or up to what they're paying for a 3-bedroom. And essentially, you should be able to have a good idea what you'll be able to rent that property out for. So there are 3 strategies that I use to purchase properties for investment. Okay, now not everyone's going to be in this same boat. There should be something I actually add to this as well, which would be seller financing, which is one of the best ways, especially if you're limited on cash you have to buy properties. And I can definitely go more into depth with that as well. But a couple of ways that you can do this. One, maybe there's a house out there that's for, we bought one, for example, for $40,000. We put $22,000 into it. So we're in for, $62,000. We rented it out, got $1,400 a month. The property's now worth about 100 grand. So if I go and I want to go refinance this property, I can pull $70,000 out and essentially pull out all the money we put into this property, maybe a little more. And essentially now I have this property that, is rented for $1,400. It should be making about $500 a month. And I've got all my money back. And that's called the burst strategy. So that's where you buy a property all cash, fix it up, you get it rented out, and then you essentially refinance, you pull your money out, keep the property, cash flowing, and then you take that same money and you do it again. So absolutely love that strategy. A little more hands-on, but great way to go. Another way you can consider doing this is through hard money. And so long story short, maybe you don't have all the cash, you got a little something to get started. You can put maybe 15 to 20% down on something like this. With hard money, you will pay some points and interest on that. And to be honest as well, some of these hard money guys right now with these smaller price properties, not a lot of people lending with the smaller loan amounts. So you just got to find yourself a good lender. You gotta do the numbers, make sure with paying the points and interest, it's still going to make sense that you can still hit your targets. But again, if you can go and buy a house for 40,000, put 20,000 in, and it's worth 95 to 100, that's a perfect place to be, right? So once you refinance the property after you've done that with this strategy, you get out of the hard money loan, you get a better interest. And again, by the time you're done, you should be cash flowing about $500 a month on that property. And another great loan, and maybe you find a property, maybe this property is, 60 or $80,000. You can go and get what's called a DSCR loan. And a DSCR loan is an investment loan. So you do put, I believe there's people out there that do it for 15%, but you should probably count on probably at least 20% down. So on a $80,000 house, you put $16,000 down. And this would be more of a long-term strategy for you here. You're not going to worry about necessarily refinancing right away. But you use the DSCR, they actually do the loan based on income. So if the property's already rented out for the target market price of, let's say, 1,400, and they can get you the loan, including, I personally, prefer having taxes and insurance included in my loan. That way, everything's all in one place, right? So yeah, DSCR loan, it's not based on your income, it's based on the income of the property. So you do not have to provide any taxes or anything like that. Really just need to show reserves that you can afford to make that payment. And yeah, so that's another great way to go in this regard. Another thing you should consider and what you should target, like we talked about $500 net per door. That's after management fees. That's after paying a mortgage. That's after insurance and taxes, right? So if you're buying a door and you end up cash flowing $100 a month and you put $16,000 out of your pocket, you didn't buy that right, and that's not going to be a good model for success in the future. I mean, at the end of the day, anything goes wrong with that property, you have a roof issue, electrical plumbing issue, something like that, and your money out of pocket, it's going to take you a long time to recoup that. At $500 a month, if something goes wrong, sucks, but you're going to be able to recoup your money, by getting the monthly cash flow. So easy question. How many doors do you need to pay your bills? Maybe if you want to get into retirement, how many doors will it take for you? And then live the abundant lifestyle that you might be looking to live. So, to be successful in this, definitely avoid these pitfalls in this business. Okay. You need to know your numbers and do your homework on the market. So, when it comes to Section 8 and you're looking in a particular county, call the Section 8 office, find out the demand. How many, I'm thinking, tell them, hey, I'm thinking about buying a couple of 3-bedroom properties here in this county, in this particular city. I'm going to be renting these out. I would like to go with Section 8. How many vouchers do you have right now? How many people do you have looking for 3 bedrooms right now? They'll tell you, oh, we have a huge demand, or no, right now it's a little slow. You don't want to go to a market where it's slow. You don't want your property sitting on the market waiting to get rented. You're looking to rent these right away. The more time they sit, the more money out of your pocket, right? The more time you have money not coming in. So do your homework up front. Okay. Number 2, I've tried to go about going cheaper routes and things like that, and just found that there's a reason these people get paid 10%. And I would highly recommend you find the absolute best property manager in town. Have some clear and concise goals. Set expectations up front. Make sure they know your expectations, and you make sure that you understand theirs as well. Because again, this is a very important relationship for you. These people can make or break your Section 8 rental business. And so you want to make sure you're on the right page, on the same page. So again, interview 1 or 2 or 3 people, if you can get recommendations. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure you understand your market. You want to make sure, again, you understand the demand and also understand the local weather issues. So in my case, with the properties I talked about previously, I come from Southern California. We're buying properties out in the Midwest where it snows. There's a lot of weather related issues that I had no idea about going in there. And so it's cost me money. And those things have cost me money. Pipes bursting, you need to weatherize a home before winter hits heavy. You need to make sure utilities are always on. You need to make sure that the house is heated, when nobody's there. And in the winter, when it's snowing or, 10 degrees out, You need to make sure the heat's on in the house and make sure like, pipes aren't busting and things like that. And so, it's just a lot of things I would have never thought about, right? So, long story short, work with experts that know that market, understand what's going on in the winters or summers that you need to know about. Um, I would only work with top experts in the local markets there. There's tons of agents. Uh, some of them are great at what they do, and others don't have the first clue what they're doing. A lot of part-time agents in our business that don't have an idea of what they're doing. So, uh, do your homework on your agent. Make sure they understand. Maybe they're an agent that has some off-market properties for you to consider, some actual good deals. Find somebody that knows the local market, that knows Section 8 investing. Be great if they own some Section 8 rentals, because now they can really walk you through, help you find the right property manager, help you find the right contractors or handyman for your properties. Um, you want to have the right team in place. And the best way for you to do that, in my opinion, is through the right expert locally in that market. So doing those things will definitely help you ensure your success. Um, I absolutely love investing in Section 8 properties. My wife and I, we would love to answer any questions or go over anything any questions you might have about this. So if you have interest, I would just highly recommend you reach out. You can, send me an email. That's my email here. That's my cell phone number there. You're welcome to call or text. And love to hear from you. Again, very passionate about investing in Section 8 properties. If you have any questions or anything, please reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you.